Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Bedford Township Board of Zoning Appeals regular meeting for August 5th, 2019. And again, from my left, we all introduce each other, ourselves.
Kyle Durst, citizen at large.
Jake Lake, Vice Chair.
George Welling, Chair.
Tom Zebek, liaison from planning.
Rick Steiner, Township Board.
Phil Goldsmith, Township Attorney.
Jody Rector, Planning and Zoning.
Tom, would you please lead us in Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Tom.
Sure.
Okay, roll call, Jody?
Mr. Dersch,
Aye.
Mr. Lake,
Here.
Mr. Zebek,
Here.
Mr. Steiner,
Aye.
Mr. Welling,
Here.
all present.
Thank you. Chair will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda is submitted.
Second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Now, I'd like, need somebody to make a motion to approve the minutes of July 1st, 2019.
Make a motion, we approve the agenda, today's meeting.
We're looking at the minutes.
Oh, sorry.
You were just testing me, I know.
Go ahead. I'll also do that. I'll approve, I will recommend that we approve the minutes as submitted, or the, minutes.
Do we have a second?
Second that.
All in favor of
Aye.
approving the minutes? Aye?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, under new business, Chair will entertain a motion to open the public hearing regarding the appeal of Norman and Pamela Fisher, 7004 Maplewood, Temperance.
Make the motion to open a public hearing regarding the appeal of Norman and Pamela Fisher at 7004 Maplewood, Temperance, Michigan, at 7004 Maplewood Drive, lot number 5802-475-026-00.
Sport.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Jody, would you care to give the details on this?
Yes, again, the applicants are Norman and Pamela Fisher, 7004 Maplewood in Temperance, Michigan. Property 5802-475-02600 on approximately .56 acres. R2B, single-family residential. Variance requested is a plus or minus 1 foot 8 inch side yard setback. The applicant is seeking a plus or minus 1 foot 8 inch side yard setback to variance to construct a 22 by 24 attached garage to an existing dwelling. The property consists of .560 acres with 80 feet of frontage on Maplewood. Per section 400.1800 Schedule of Regulations, a side yard setback in an R2B single-family residential zoning district requires one side yard setback a minimum of 8 feet for a total of 20. While the rear yard of the proposed attached garage meets the 8 feet, due to the angle of the home on the property, the front of the garage encroaches and only provides for a 6 foot 4 inch side yard setback, thus requiring the 1 foot 8 inch side yard setback variance to meet the required 8 feet of one side yard setback. At this time, no letters or calls of objection have been received.
Thank you. Seeing as there's no public here except for the applicants, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Sport.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Fishers, is there anything you'd like to add to what she read on the, please give your name and address.
My name is Norman Fisher. I live at 7004 Maplewood, Temperance, Michigan. And again, being the house, when it was built, I think in 85 or 86, it was put at an angle. We talked about moving the garage back further, but what that would do is block 2 windows. They'd have to be removed, or we'd be looking inside the garage from our house. That's the reason for the request.
Any questions for the applicant? Oh, go ahead, Mr.
I mean, this is just a strange question, I guess, but how in the world did they build that house on an angle like that? I mean, it's a really nice house and just how do they,
We don't know.
now, are you the
There-
original owner or not?
No, no.
Okay.
The original home that sat there was a real small one, we know.
Okay.
It sat crooked. And the only thing we can figure out is the builder wanted to follow the old footer lines.
Okay.
That's the only thing we can ever figure out on it.
Was any of the old foundation used or just completely?
Not to our knowledge.
Okay.
I believe it was all tore out, but he used the footprint.
And the rest of the lot is pretty squared though, right, on both sides?
Yes, yeah, the lot is perfectly square. It was surveyed.
Okay. So just hopefully when they built the house there, hopefully the house isn't this way too.
No, the house is square. Oh, that'd be terrible.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just an oddity that just somehow happened. Whether the builder started it that way and just somehow got his directions off, I mean, I don't know. I mean, other than that, the house is a nice looking home.
It's a beautiful home. We love it, yeah.
My guess is that they didn't allow for the rotation of the earth as they were putting it in. They got-
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's just a guess, though.
Okay.
So, a couple of things that we have to discuss is what kind of hardships it's caused when we do possibly approve a zoning appeal. Number one is to move the garage backwards, you would block windows. For one reason or another, there may have been a good reason, there may have been just because, but the footer, they may have been trying to follow, like you said, the original footer line. Maybe it had to do with digging out too. Maybe, so they didn't have to dig out again and try to adjust it to the lot. And the other part is just the fact that the house is built at an angle with the lot. At no fault of yours, it was done originally. So those are just a couple things. I'm going to yield to my fellow board members and have them add some comments.
Any discussion?
Maybe a question, just for argument's sake, the other side of the house, I assume there's not enough land there to build a garage, which
No.
you're proposing?
No, the other side is, well, you might be able to build an 8-foot garage. But no, there's not enough room between that lot, no.
That looks like you probably have on that side, if you tried to build a garage there, you might only have not even 5 feet left, I think, over there.
Right.
4 or 5.
Right. I think when the house was built, I always heard back in the 80s that the property line was 5 foot at that time. You had, because we measured our neighbors on both sides, them are 5 foot from our line.
Okay.
So I think when the builder, even though he had it crooked, I don't think he was worried in the future to do a 24 by 24 garage. At a 5-foot setback, it would have worked perfect.
Yeah. Mr. Goldsmith, I mean, you've been around long enough. Do you recall back that long ago if it used to be 5 feet?
I don't know for sure.
Yeah, Maybe it would probably take some research, but I
Yeah.
don't know if you just,
Yeah, the schedule of regulations that we operate from now have been in existence for quite some time, so there are instances where a 5-foot setback is required or called for, so in this case, too, one of the practical difficulties is the garage would not work on the opposite side because there's insufficient area. The second is, if you move the proposed garage back, you'd be blocking one, maybe 2 windows, which would create a practical difficulty in that building code requires ingress, egress, and if either one of those windows were a bedroom, for example, and you didn't have any other ingress or egress to the outside, you'd have an issue. You'd have a problem that would probably prevent the construction of the garage if you moved it back. That's somewhat speculation on my part because I don't know where those windows lead, but that's another practical difficulty to consider. The other practical difficulty has already been identified, and that is the house, for whatever reason, was placed at an angle in relationship to the lot lines, and therefore, while one corner of the garage complies, the other does not comply, and the total area of the setback with this variance would be satisfied.
The one upstairs window is our bedroom. That one would be blocked. It would be in the attic space then of the garage.
So that would create potentially a building/fire code violation, because you have to have ingress, egress to the outside from a bedroom.
Go ahead.
Another question. This is probably a safe assumption, but if the garage were to be moved forward enough to where you could offset it to the front of the house, I assume that would encroach on the, it would probably create another variance to the front of the home?
The further you bring the building
Get worse.
forward, the closer to the neighbor's property line it gets.
Okay.
That's why we settled on the 5-foot. It kept both windows open and kept us 1 foot 8 inches short of the
8 foot.
8-foot, yeah.
Okay.
The builder worked that out, Gary did.
Are there any more questions for Mr. Fisher or any more discussion?
Mr. Chairman, Jody just brought it to my attention. She's right, that 5-foot setbacks do apply to detached accessory buildings in some applications, so that might lend some additional information. Since this is an attached garage, it requires the total setback, so that may be an explanation as well. Sorry,
That's
Dan.
why our neighbors' garages, then, they're detached. That's why they're 5-foot, and, okay.
And they set back
That,
further.
thank you. Yeah, that's good to know.
So they've got a garage and they've got all open space.
Right, right.
Okay. Yeah, you can come up.
You can go up there and talk. Okay. Board, anybody have anything else? Thank you, Mr. Fisher. Have a seat.
Thank you.
Is there any other discussion? If that's the case, I will entertain receiving a motion on this from anybody.
Also, the placement of this structure, it's not a self-created practical difficulty, because this couple purchased this home, it was an existing home, so they didn't create that situation and now seek relief, so I wouldn't put it in the self-created category.
Didn't even think of that, no.
Mr. Chairman, I will make a motion to approve the variance request of a 1 foot 8-inch side yard setback variance to construct a 22 by 24 garage on parcel number 5802-475-026-00 at 7004 Maplewood Drive, Temperance, Michigan, for the following reasons. Number one, the home was built in 1985, and it was built crooked on the lot. It does not follow the parallel side lot lines on either side. And the current owner was not the original owner, so they did not self-create this issue with this home to build a garage. Discussion was had regarding potentially pushing the garage further to the rear, but if they went further to the rear, they would be blocking 2 windows, and one of those would be an upstairs bedroom, and that most likely would cause ingress, egress issues and be in violation of the building code. There is no room on the south side of the home to build a garage. On the south side, it would be a smaller side yard setback, even worse than the 1.8 variance request. And I think that should be it.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll support.
Okay, we have a motion and a support, and Jody, would you take the roll?
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Zebeck?
Aye.
Mr. Lake?
Aye.
Mr. Dersch?
Aye.
Mr. Welling?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Okay, moving along. We're looking for there's any public comment. I don't see them racing up here. So, any comment from the board or staff? They can't hear you.
I have nothing.
Thank you.
No comments, thank you.
Nothing additional this evening?
Nothing from me.
Nothing from me.
I'm good.
Well, I'm the same way, so I'm gonna go take the bold move and adjourning the meeting. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
welcome.
Good luck.